Welcome to Psychologies. I'm Ted Bradshaw, Cognitive Behavioural Therapist and coach with Barefoot Coaching. I'm also the creator of this short programme, How to Manage Your Anxiety and Thrive. In this short coaching video, you will learn about managing anxious thinking, and this is session number 3 out of 4. If you want to catch up on the previous episodes, or indeed keep track of session number 4, keep checking back on the Psychologies website, or indeed subscribe to Psychologies magazine to access the full course, including weekly journal workbooks for in-depth coaching, and subscribe via the link in this video's caption. If you're already a subscriber, head to the Life Leap Club page on the Psychologies website to register or to sign in. We're going to talk about anxious thinking today. In your workbook that we're providing alongside the course, there will be a couple of other ways of managing it, but I wanted to go through in this video with you today my favourite way of managing anxious thinking. We spoke a little bit in session 1 about the idea that usually when we get anxious, there's part of us that's scared and part of us going, don't be silly, or it'll work out okay. And what I want to share with you today is how to kind of get a better idea about what each part of those are saying, what each bit is saying. So, I'm going to give you an example. What I'm going to ask you to ask yourself is, when you get anxious, that bit of me that's scared, if it had a form or a shape or even a character, what would it be? What would it look like? What would it sound like? How would it dress? How would it stand? How would it talk? And the same applies to this part of you that's being more logical and reasonable, if you like. What character would they have? I'm going to give you an example, which is my example. All of mine are different versions of me, which you can read however you like. When I ask myself, the bit of me that gets scared, what does that bit look like? It's Anxious Ted. So Anxious Ted is about 16. He's got long frizzy hair, he wears baggy jeans and a hoodie, and he sort of speaks like this. He's over here on my left hand side, and he's saying, don't do this, you're going to make a fool of yourself. Why are you putting yourself in this position? Everybody's going to hate it. Why are you doing this? This is so scary, I don't understand. And when he's talking like that, it really does make me sort of feel on edge. But as you can kind of hear in his voice and in his words, what he wants is for us to be safe. He's trying to keep me safe. That's what I take away from him. Every time he's speaking like that, it really sets me on edge. But his intention is good. Logical bit of me. The logical bit of me is Professor Ted. And Professor Ted wears a roll neck cardigan, and he holds a big leather-bound book, and he has a pipe. He doesn't smoke it, but he has one, and glasses. And whenever Anxious Ted pipes up, Professor Ted kind of puts his book down like this. And he says, oh, not this again. For God's sake, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just relax? This is not something to be stressed out over. It's all going to be fine. Don't be so pathetic. You can imagine how that goes down with Anxious Ted. This is genuinely what happens in my mind when I get anxious about something. I feel anxious, but then I feel like an idiot for feeling anxious. And that's really all these characters help me get a sense of. It helps me to kind of see them over here rather than here. And it helps me to hear from both of them. But there is a third. There's a few in my mind, but I want to share with you a third, which I'd encourage you to think about as well, which is trying to access the bit of you that you use for other people. So once you've gathered these two, I want you to ask yourself, the bit of you that you use for everyone else, the bit of you that you use to help people, the bit of you that is nice to your children or to your friends, what's that bit like? And for me, the answer to that is, it's Dad Ted. Not Father Ted, specifically not Father Ted, it's Dad Ted. And it's the bit of me that is a dad. So I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old and a 13-week-old. And when Dad Ted comes in, he looks quite relaxed, he looks quite happy. And when Anxious Ted gets really anxious, all Dad Ted does is he goes and he puts an arm around him. Doesn't really need to say anything actually. And if he does, he's just understanding. You know, fair enough, yeah, it's scary, isn't it? Yeah, this sounds scary, gosh. And that, interestingly, has a better reaction for me than trying to be all logical. Because anxiety isn't really logical, and I don't need somebody to tell me, even myself, I don't need myself to tell me, look, you shouldn't be anxious about this. What I need, really, is for somebody to go, yeah, fair enough. Maybe that's all right. To be who I would be for somebody else. Have a little go at that this week, and I hope it's useful.